Welcome to our presentation, Lot Management, Quarantine and Accuracy. Many organizations have critical needs for quarantine and accuracy when they're managing their lot and serial controlled items. Quality Essential Suite has solutions that can help. The challenges that we encounter are often tied to things like the volume of the transactions we have to process and the variation in the tasking that takes place in our manufacturing environment. These challenges can lead to error due to human intervention and ultimately to costly mistakes. But we can offer you a solution that will help you reliably manage your serial and lot tracked materials using a combination of Microsoft Dynamics Great Plains and Quality Essential Suite. The secret to being able to handle those transactions effectively lies in three functions: hold, inspect, and release. Let's take a look at the product functionality. One of the functional areas in any business where we can see a lot of transactions that might be specially managed for serial and lot control is in the receiving process. In our reporting, we can see many different materials were received, and if we check the site ID, we can see that some of these materials that are lot controlled also require being held in a quarantine location. Our setups in the Dynamics GP environment can allow us to establish those behaviors as part of the receiving process. But the controls that we want for purchase receipts are likely going to go beyond simply being in a quarantine location. We're probably also going to want to know whether or not the materials in quarantine need to be inspected. And we can be alerted by that with a reminder. Here are two items in the quarantine location. We can identify through the inquiry process that the items have been allocated and that that allocation is tied to an inventory hold. This is the first step in our control functions, the hold process. Let's take a look at where we set that up. Our inventory hold process is managed in our quality control application. We can access that through the taskbar. This is our item hold setup form. It identifies the items in our inventory, and it allows us to flag the different transactions in our manufacturing and receiving process where those items should be placed on hold. In our inventory control system in Dynamics GP, we can see when we use the lot number inquiry that for our AB resin, the 4,000 pounds of material that has been received is placed on hold because it is indicated as being fully allocated. This will prevent any other transaction utilizing those materials until the hold has been released. If we want to make this additional 4,000 pounds of material available to manufacturing, we're going to have to go ahead and access the quality system and ensure that we can complete the inspection of the materials before we can release them. We're going to do that using the all-in-one results entry form. We've begun the process by identifying our item name and that the item was received on a purchase order that references the receipt number. We're also going to identify the inspection process we will follow and select the lot number of the materials that we are going to be tracking our results against. We know that our batch quantity is 4,000 pounds, and we can add other information such as the complete by date and who is going to be required to complete the work. By selecting the Create Test button, what I will have is the opportunity in the lower grid of the form to complete the information related to the inspection process. As we record results against the various different tests, we'll have the opportunity to see whether or not the test results we're recording meet the criteria for the items that they're applied against. Our moisture percent, for instance, needs to be no higher than 8%. We're very lucky here, it's 7.89%. We're also going to be able to identify whether or not the shipment was received on time, and we're going to know how much of the material passed and failed this inspection process. This will allow us to identify what the total percent of good material received was. Now that we know what the inspection processes are, we can assign a grade code, and with that grade code we can identify that this material is available to be used in production. Knowing the material meets our requirements allows us to go into the inventory holds processing form, and in that form locate the item number that we've just inspected. Here's our AB resin, and we can see that our lot ZZ901 has been on hold, but now we are able to release it because our inspection process cleared the material. When we select the material, we'll be able to populate the activity grid in the upper right, and we're simply going to say release all of the material in this particular lot and click on the process button. A change in color for the dot quickly indicates to us that that hold process has been released and that material should now be available in production. Of course, what we'd really like to know is how did removing the item from hold affect our inventory? We're going to access the inventory homepage in Dynamics Great Plains and do a lot inquiry to see what the effect is on our AB resin. All of the available lots are displayed, and when we select our ZZ901 lot, what we can see is that the 4,000 piece quantity allocation has been removed. That will make this material available to be transferred out of quarantine and into regular production. In addition, what we'll find is that our reminder has reduced the quantity of items that need to be inspected to 1. This completes our process of holding, inspecting, and releasing materials. We hope you found the information in this presentation useful. Please contact us if we can provide you with any additional information. Thank you again for your time and attention.